Hello, welcome back to the next part in my instalment on the Shark NV681UKT. Now, in the last video we had a sort of a bit of a review of the machine and its features and how it worked and how it went together, what you could expect for your money. Now in this video what we're going to be doing is to be looking at how well does it perform on the carpets, how easy to push, and basically what I think about how it's working. So what we're going to be doing is first of all we're going to be vacuuming the carpets. Now I've put a little bit of test dirt down. Basically what's on this carpet is what the cleaners picked up during this past week. In the front carpet there we've got some more dirt there with more particles of rice and things, because I want to see how well it agitates the carpet. Then we've got the pick-up test on the hard floor in the back. I don't have much hard floor in this house, so I have to use the lino in the back of the house there in the bathroom. Most of my house is carpet, okay, which is probably why I went for the one with without the DuoClean brush roll on, which is what this one is. It's more suitable really for people with a lot of carpets. If you had more hard floors, then you go for the DuoClean model. Right, so without further ado, let's get straight into this, because I want to do a fair bit of cleaning with this now. So I'm going to do the back room, and I'm going to be having the camera down here while we clean in the back room, so you can see it in action. And then what I'll do, I'll put the camera into handheld, and we will go and do into the front room with it. So let's go then. The suction control will be on maximum throughout doing the carpets. Right, so that's done a pretty good job of pulling all that dirt up that was down on the carpet there. Now, what we did notice is basically you can see how well it raises the pile of the carpet there, so it's done a good job with that. But what I was noticing, and I noticed this with the Dyson hand sticks as well, is that if you're going with or against the nap on the carpet, so obviously what's happening is that if you pull it back too quickly, the floor head judders as it comes put on the backstroke. I find this with a lot of cleans on this type of carpet. If you pull it back too quickly, the floor head will jump continuously and judder as you pull it back. That machine did exactly the same thing. So if you're going with the nap of the carpet, like so, to get the pile raised, you need to be slow as you pull the head back, and then it won't judder. Otherwise, it's picked up everything that I expected it to do on that carpet. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to hold the camera now in handheld mode, and we're going to go into the front room, and I'm going to tackle this mess here, which contains a lot more fine particles here, rice and couscous, the usual stuff that I use to test to see how much vibration and agitation the machine puts onto the carpet. Right, so let's go again. One of the things you notice about this over the old version is just how quiet it is when you're using it. The motor hasn't got that high-pitched scream to it that other Sharks have had in the past. The floor head motor is actually quite reasonably quiet as well. It can be a little bit difficult to push at times on this carpet, but if it does, you'd open your suction control valve there, and that would make it easier to push. But for this test I'm using it on full suction. So as we can see from that, it does not have very, very strong agitation. It basically removes what it needs to from inside the floor head area, but it will not create agitation outside the floor head. And you could see from that there was absolutely no movement at all of those particles outside the cleaner head. And that may have been done to avoid the noise level. Having to reduce it to 80 decibels, they've obviously had to reduce the amount of agitation it performs. So yes, we can see from there it does not agitate or beat the carpet or vibrate the carpet. So it still tends to remove everything it needs to remove though. And I saw this same with the Dyson light ball as well. Whereas old versions of the Dysons, they used to have a lot of agitation on the DC40 Mark II and the DC41. The light ball doesn't. And this one behaves in exactly the same way. A slight amount of snow plowing with that larger item there, which won't go under the front of the floor head and is being pushed along. So I'm not sure how we'd pick that up. I suppose we'd have to lift the head, that's it, and put it onto the top. But again, the issue with snow ploughing would be dealt with if you bought the Duo Clean model, which has the Duo Clean roller on the front. So I'm not too overly concerned about it with this one, because I don't normally have large debris like that lying around on the floor. That's just solely to show it picking up the rubbish basically, and to see if it had any agitation outside the floor head. And there we can see the judder again. Can you see the way it's left the lines on the carpet when pulling it back? That's because I'm pulling it back too quickly against the pile of the carpet, and you can see those lines it's left. If you pull it back slower, it then doesn't do it. So you've got to give the brush roll a chance to raise the pile, and then it won't judder. But it's usually only when you're going and you're pulling it back against the direction of the nap and the brush roll is having to fully raise that pile. And that's quite a struggle for it to do, which is why you have to pull it back slower to give it time to do it. And then it'll do a good job. Let's just move this chair, and obviously when you put the machine in the upright position, it shuts the brush roll off automatically, as most cleaners do that have two motors. Right, let's just carry on. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just take the unit into lift away mode now, and I can carry the canister while I use the floor head. So in order to do that, I'll have to put the camera down on the back. And again, you can use that control handle to be able to switch the brush roll off as and when you need it. What I do find with this is that when it's in lift away mode like this, the back of the floor head becomes very, very light. And when you're pulling it back, you're tending to find that the back of it lifts off the carpet as you're pulling it back. It doesn't stay flat on the floor, so you've got to make that effort to hold the handle down so that you're dragging it back with the wheels remaining on the floor. It's very easy to keep lifting the back of it up, because obviously you haven't got the weight of the unit on the back now. Let's carry on. Right, so now what I want to do is put the dusting brush on the end of the hose, and we'll see what it's like to do the dusting with. So I'll just reposition that camera. Right, I'm going to take the dusting tool out of here, and I'll put it on the end of the handle. like so, and then extend the dusting brush. And like I said on the other review, you are having a very, very long reach then between here and here. So that might be all right when you're doing down and low, but when you've got like close range like this, you're finding you're dusting with your hand right back here because it's so long. And that I don't particularly like very much. I prefer to have a shorter dusting tool that just fits onto the end of here. But like I said, you can get 35mm dusting brushes off eBay that will fit onto here, because I know the Miele one does. So I'm going to take off the liftaway again and then use this to just dust the furniture. So don't get me wrong, you can still do the dusting using this attachment. I suppose once you get used to it, you'll be alright. It's just what you're used to, I suppose, and it just seems to me that I prefer to have the hose like this, with the dusting brush straight on the end of the hose, without all this length. So, you know, it's just a matter of personal preference with that really, but it's not my ideal type of dusting brush, and I said exactly the same with the Dyson light ball as well. So, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave it in lift away mode like so. And I'm going to put the camera at the top of the stairs, and we're going to try and go up the stairs with this, with the turbo brush on. So you'll just have to give me a second while I set that up. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the supplied dusting brush, dusting brush on the braid. We've got that there, the turbo brush. I'm going to push that onto the end of the hose like so. So obviously you haven't got such a long reach with that now, so that's a bit better. And I'm going to put the camera at the top of the stairs. Okay, let's just focus that down. And we'll see how easy it is to go up the stairs. So that was very, very, very easy indeed. It's excellent for doing stairs with, and you've got that fingertip control as well to be able to turn it on and off when you need to. The suction control there varies the speed of this thing, so it isn't too noisy. So all in all, that is a very, very good machine for doing stairs, which I thought it would be. The only problem is you do have to be careful when you go back down that you don't trip over the cable. So that is one issue. Right, what we're going to do now is I'll put it back into upright configuration, and we will go into the bathroom there and see how well it picks up the particles on the hard floor. So again, just bear with me for a second while I set the machine up. In fact, we'll just put the camera there while I do it. So it's very, very easy and very quick to set it back up for upright. You've got it in this configuration, and we just come and stick our pod back on the front, remove this, put this back in, and then put the... If the hose is twisted, because the hose doesn't swivel at either end, you need to take it off and just twist the hose back round again, like so that it isn't twisted, and then stick your clip back in. There we go. I'll be with you in a second. I've just got to put the plug in over here. Because it's only an 8 metre cable, it won't stretch from there, so I have to plug it in this socket here. Right, so let's go into here. We'll do the hard floor in here. And we will see. What I'm going to have to do is to reduce the suction right down for going onto the lino. Right, so this is what we need to do for this purpose. Right, so turn the brush roll off. So basically what we can see is that it doesn't do very well with large debris on hard floor, which I didn't expect it would do, because that's what the DuoClean model is for. This basically has got a very low front to its floor head, so whilst it'll get the fine particles up no problem, it will not pick up anything larger. So you've got your fluff here. I mean, this is very excessive for a hard floor, but basically it just shows the need really why they produced the DuoClean model, which has the roller on the front of here, which takes in the hard particle, the large particles very well. So on hard floors, this machine is not that brilliant if you've got floors with a lot of debris on them. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use the hose and the wand to clean this up. Right. This battery on. And we'll try again. No, unfortunately it just isn't going to clean any even particles of rice will not fit under the floor head. Because this lino is not stuck down, even with the machine on minimum suction, it's not able to clean effectively on hard floor on this type. Whereas the Dyson ball did, this shark will not. So if you've got a lot of hard floors, right, the GeoClean model is probably the better one for you. So I'm just going to clean the rest of it up now, again with the hose. Right, so that's the hard floor one done. Now obviously you wouldn't have massive messes like that in real use, but you might have the odd spill of rice on the floor. And if you've got lino like this, which a lot of people do, not everybody's is stuck down, even with minimum suction, this is going to struggle, right? So it's best to get the GeoClean version with the roller on the front if you've got a lot of hard floors. So the last little section I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get the turbo brush and take it into lift away. One thing you have to be careful of is that it doesn't fall back as well when it's in lift away. So let's just take the hose off. Again, it's a bit tricky for me because I've got only one hand to do it with the camera in the other. Right, so it's now in the lift away mode, and I'm going to go and get the turbo brush. And then we're going to see how well the turbo brush cleans the chair. So again, just like it was on the stairs, I'm going to use the turbo brush, turn the machine on. Need more suction power, that's maximum. No problem at all. So that works really well. Works well on stairs, works well on furniture. Okay, let's just, before we finish, have a quick look at the bin. So we can take the bin off. Now we can see there that the bin is about just under half full, just over half full after all that dirt that I've picked up in there. So it will hold a reasonable amount in the bin. There's no clogs and no blockages inside here. That's perfectly clear. There was pet hair in there, but I think you would have an issue if you had ladies with long hair in the house. Similarly, you'd have to clean the brush roll off as well. Obviously, we've just been on the hard floor in there and hasn't been rolling, so we've got a few hairs stuck to it. Long hairs would wrap around here as well, so you'd need to go along with a pair of scissors along that line and cut those off. So yes, the filter itself, we know with a shark that the filters get dirty quickly. They're designed to do it. It has picked up more fine dust on that filter there, but again, very little of it gets through, pardon me, and very little gets through here as well, but they do dirty the filters. But I'm not going to be worried about that until about the month mark, and then I will give it a wash and see if it loses any suction in the meantime. So the only drawback really is large debris on hard floors, especially with lino. This is the only thing it seems to struggle on. Everything else, it's a really good cleaner. There will be more videos coming up from me on this in the future, as just vacuuming videos, but for now, I'll say goodbye for now. Hello, welcome back to the next part in my instalment on the Shark NV681UKT. Now, in the last video we had a sort of a bit of a review of the machine and its features and how it works and how it went together, what you could expect for your money. Now in this video what we're going to be doing is to be looking at how well does it perform on the carpets, how he's easy to push, and my basically what I think about how it's working. So what we're going to be doing is first of all we're going to be vacuuming the carpets. Now I've put a little bit of test dirt down. Basically what's on this carpet is what the cleaners picked up during this past week. In the front carpet there we've got some more dirt there with more particles of rice and things, because I want to see how well it agitates the carpet. Then we've got the pick-up test on the hard floor in the back. I don't have much hard floor in this house, so I have to use the lino in the back of the house there in the bathroom. Most of my house is carpet, okay, which is probably why I went for the one with without the DuoClean brush roll on, which is what this one is. It's more suitable really for people with a lot of carpets. If you had more hard floors, then you go for the DuoClean model. Right, so without further ado, let's get straight into this, because I want to do a fair bit of cleaning with this now. So I'm going to do the back room, and I'm going to be having the camera down here while we clean in the back room, so you can see it in action. And then what I'll do, I'll put the camera into handheld, and we will go and do into the front room with it. So let's go then. The suction control will be on maximum throughout doing the carpets.